We are going to start decimal multiplication day 2. But I would like to start off with a little bit of a joke. What did area say to perimeter while arguing? What do you think? Okay, here we go. I'm trying to talk to you, but I feel like you're just going around my problem. Good one, right? Not so bad. If you have some suggestions, you guys just let me know. All right. The first thing I want you to start with is I want you to open your 5th grade homework and remembering book, and I want you to check your work from Friday. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pause the video, and you're going to take a look and see if there were any errors you made, and maybe if you can find that mistake, or if you have a question. I'll be coming around and you can ask me. So just pause the video. Okay. I'm going to assume you guys did a great job checking your work, and you can just say, check. I feel really good, and we can keep moving along in this unit. So today we're going to do a little more shading. We're going to focus on multiplying a decimal number by a decimal number. So when we multiply a decimal number by a decimal number, you have to stop and think about what's going to happen to that number, to the 2 decimal numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to take a look, and we're going to first start by multiplying 2/10 times 7/10. So you can think that we're taking 2/10 of 7/10. So that means that our product, the answer to our multiplication problem, is going to get even smaller. We're taking a fraction of a fraction. And let's see if that's true. So this is going to be a new type of shading today. I like to start with the larger of the 2 numbers, and I work my way across, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shade that. And, I'm just going to be as organized as I can, right? And I'm going to shade, 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 shade. And so now I have 7/10 shaded. But I'm multiplying it by 2/10. So we're taking 2/10 of 7/10. And so what I'm going to do now, so let's see what happens if I get a green. And let me label this. So right here, this is 7/10, right, that I shaded. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label 2/10, but instead of going down, I'm going to go across. So I'm going to find 2, and I'm going to shade all the way across. Okay? Now watch this. This is the coolest thing, because the product, and let me label again. This is 2/10. So look at, it's like an area model. 7/10 of 2/10 or 2/10 of 7/10. We're multiplying. The space where the 2 colors overlap, I'm going to go ahead and box off, because this is our answer. So 2/10 of 7/10, and I can even count my hundredths. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, let me show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 hundredths as my product to this problem. And so I can write here 14 hundredths. Now I'm going to come over here, I'm going to put 2/10 times 7/10, and I'm going to apply the rule that we used the other day. And I'm going to count the digits behind my decimal points. But now I have 2 factors that have decimal points in them. So if I go ahead and I see, 1 digit behind the first factor, that has a decimal. 1 digit behind the decimal in the second factor. So 4th graders, this means that I have to have 2 digits behind my decimal. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 7, and I'm going to get 14. I'm going to say, oops, I'm going to have 2 digits behind my decimal, and I'm going to scoop 1, 2. And look at that. We counted 14 hundredths using our model, and then we multiplied it using more the traditional method. We also got 14 hundredths. So I'm going to do this again for you, so watch closely, please. I have 3/10 times 3/10. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start going down. I'm going to find my 3/10. I'm going to shade it. Shade, 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 shade. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my color, and now I'm going to go across, and I label. Please label. Organize. Be organized with your work. I'm going to go across, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, shade, 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 shade. And then I'm going to box the place or the part where the 2 colors overlap. So I'm going to box that off. And I'm going to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hundredths. And let me label this side too. So this box is 9 hundredths. Make sure you don't put tenths. That's hundredths that we have there. And when I go over here and I say 3/10 times 3/10, I know that's 9, but now I'm going to count how many digits I have behind my decimals. 1, 2. So from the right I have to go over 1, 2. So I am going to have to add a 0 and then my decimal point for 9 hundredths. Okay, so those are 2 more basic problems. Now let's take a look at when we have a decimal number multiplied by a factor that has a whole number and a decimal number. Okay, and I highly suggest that you start with the larger number. So we're multiplying 5/10 times 1 4/10. So I'm going to first shade my 1 4/10. So this whole first block is 1 whole, right? This is fully 1 whole. So I have to shade the whole thing to represent 1. If I had 2 wholes, I'd have to shade 2. But I only have 1 whole and then part of another whole. Okay, so now I shaded my 1 whole, and you guys can see that's right there. But now I need to shade 4/10. So I'm going to come over to this next hole, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go ahead and shade in all of this. And now I have successfully shaded 1 4/10 between the 2. Okay, now I need to go back and I need to shade 5/10. But I'm going to do that going across, and I'm going to get my color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here I go. And I have to go across both. 4th graders, I have to go across both of the models. Or I should say, of the whole and of the partial whole. Remember, so I have to shade all of this. Again, though, 4th graders, I'm going to box off the part where the 2 colors cross. And you'll notice it goes across 1 hole and then part of the other hole. And we're going to label that 5/10. So I can count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know that I have 5/10 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 1/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 2/10. So I'm going to add my 2 up. Okay? And I am going to get 7/10. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and multiply right here. 1 4/10 times 5/10. And let's see. 4 times 5 is 0. Carry my 2 is 7. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. I'm going to do my count. 1 digit behind that decimal, 1 digit behind that decimal, starting from the right. 1, 2. So now I can look, and I can go ahead and put my decimal there. And fourth graders, we see 70 hundredths, but we know that 7 tenths is equal to 70 hundredths. So now you're really seeing us use these models, and we're also seeing how we use the traditional method, and we're getting the same answers, okay? But now you can see why our product becomes smaller. You are going to do this today. You have these problems, and then you have a couple more on the next page. You don't have many to do. Now, fourth graders, some of you might think, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid I'm going to get these wrong. Just watch the video again. It is all right here. You guys can be independent and you can do this. I totally believe in you. Okay? Now, as homework, fourth graders, you are going to start having a little homework. This is classwork. As homework, I want you to complete the odd numbers on page 83 in the 5th grade homework and remembering. It's 4 or 5. You only do odd problems. So that's homework. Okay, so let's do a quick review of your work today. Okay, you're going to check your homework from Friday. Check homework from Friday. After you watch this video, I have a warm-up that reviews Friday's concepts that I want you to take. It has 4 problems. You're going to need a piece of paper or a whiteboard to solve them. Then you're going to do the worksheet with models, and that's what we just did together. This is the worksheet that you do. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, homework. Okay, like I said, page 83, odd numbers. Okay, so this is also in Schoology. The warm-up is in Schoology. So you guys can be independent. That is your goal. I'll pop over to classrooms to see if you have any questions, okay? You guys have got this, all right? Get to it.